Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for joining me on the
Hi,
Mental
Claire.
Moment.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to have you, and I know that you are fitting me in because you have just moved.
Indeed, it's been a very busy month. I'm still a bit in transition. I'm setting up my workspace. It's a total mess, which is why I have probably my simplest ever background. But new teachers should not freak out about that. We change them all the time, and it's fine.
And
Many teachers change them seasonally. I've had the same background pretty much since I started, but since I'm in a different space, I'm still trying to sort it out.
That's a really nice example of what you can do when you're just starting, though, and you're deciding. What you've got there is perfect. It's the welcome, your name, the logo, and
something with color.
Something with color. Brilliant.
Absolute bare minimum I had once was the logo, and that was it on a white wall. But
were you traveling?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to pick your brains. I know you've been a teacher basically your entire adult life in various fields. And you said to me that you've learned more from all your students than they have learned from you, which means you've learned a lot, I'm sure, if you've been teaching for a long time. Can you give me an example of the most important things you've learned and how that affects your teaching now?
To relax. That is such a big deal. When you're teaching, you're on all the time, whether it's through a video or in an actual classroom, like you are on stage the entire time. And so many people I see so many new teachers get super nervous about just the tiniest things that some people may not even notice besides them. But the biggest thing is just to be kind to yourself, because I see so many teachers, especially on the Facebook group, being really hard on themselves. And I'm like, you would never treat a student that way.
No, what a great point.
I would never treat a student like they're dumb or have made a huge mistake or whatever. But we often do that to ourselves. And so the more students I teach, because we are teachers, we need to remember we're the example.
Give me some of your tactics for when you make a mistake.
When I make a mistake, most of the time I just laugh it off and the students think it's funny, and it's a great opportunity for them to see it's okay to make a mistake. That's all part of the process of learning. Failure is an inherent part of the learning process.
Absolutely.
So if you're not willing to try and maybe fail, then you're not ever going to learn anything new. It's necessary.
So you find it also helps them build a lot of rapport with you when they start to see you as more, they can connect more with you. They can laugh with you. They can laugh at you.
Exactly. And I have no problem with that. Zero shame.
We all remember what it's like to be brand new to Bling or any job. And you're nervous and you want to get it right, as you've said. How do you get yourself ready? How do you get yourself calm?
For me personally, EFT was a huge help for me. It's also known as tapping. It's a stress management tool. Mm-hmm. And whether you use EFT or meditation, I meditate almost every day. It's kind of a habit now. My advice for any new teacher is to make stress management a priority. Everybody does different things. Yoga is great. Stretching is great. Essential oils. I frequently have, if I'm having a really bad day, I have a little vial of lavender that I can just
going to get all zen
classes
before class, in between classes.
Or if you have a bad class, and 10 minutes, we are so just absolutely blessed with our break. I have never worked for an online company that had such a long break in between classes. And I know a lot of teachers are using that time to do their feedback. I don't ever. I need that break. It makes me a better teacher. I'm focused on my needs during that break, whether it's, do I need something to drink? Do I need to go to the bathroom? Do I need to calm myself in some way? And studies are pretty clear on this. Even like 2 minutes of deep breathing, which we have time for.
Yeah, we have
classes, it makes such a huge difference. It lowers your cortisol, and then you're just in a more centered place to meet your students.
I'm going to call you Teacher Amy Zen from now on.
I think that's one of my greatest skills, probably, because when you're working with teenagers with special needs, teenagers are anxious. Yeah. And it was a big deal to not take their anxiety home with me all the time.
So, Amy, I know that's something that you are passionate about and fond of, and you used a lot in your previous teaching life, is the concept of scaffolding.
It's such a common strategy in teaching any subject, really. And it's based on, when you see they're building a new building and the construction people have to build a scaffold that then they climb onto, and then another one, and then another one, so they can get higher and higher. It's exactly the same. For example, when I used to teach teenagers, I would never try to teach a student calculus before they've learned algebra. Because you need all of those basic algebra skills in order to even do calculus. So it's really about, especially with language, you're trying to build the foundation. You were starting in these lessons with words, and then to sentences, and then to conversations. And so you're making it a more difficult or challenging or stretching the skill even further as you go. When we're in our lessons and say the kid cannot say a sentence, okay, break it down even further. Try a word. He can't say a word, break it down even further. Try a sound. You're trying to find their level of what they can do and then build from there. That's the basic idea.
I will wipe out whole swathes of reading if they can't even repeat what I've been trying to teach them to repeat. Absolutely. And I won't even go there with that.
Absolutely. If it's over their heads, then you got to improvise.
Improvise, adapt.
Teacher Lindy had made an entire video about that, and she's right. It's so helpful. You need to, obviously planning is really important, but sometimes the plan isn't going to work, and you don't know that until you meet your students. So you really need to find their level and build from there.
Fabulous. Thank you. What wonderful advice. So Amy, before you go, I'm going to ask you to play a game with me. And it's not the game you've seen before. We are going to play the 5-second rule game. I am going to ask you to name 3 things in 5 seconds. Name 3 weird things that the kids do with the camera.
Cover it up with stuff, turn it off, take it to the bathroom.
Name 3 things you wish you could unsee.
Oh dear. Grandpa's topless. Any student going to the bathroom, and oh shoot, I only got 2.
Name 3 things that they do that they think we don't know that they do.
Writing inappropriate things in the chat box. Anytime they're gesturing and think we don't know. Let's see what else. When they're in the bathroom and they're pretending not to be.
Very well done.
To beat the clock.
Amy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. See you soon.
Chill out, everybody. It's a fun job. It's a fun job. Enjoy it. Action.
Name 3 things. Okay, here we go. Let's do second take 7.
Good job.
Good job. All right.